Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Cherico, and I'm here with Clay Pasco. And welcome back to episode 15 of Up All Night. You missed us last week, but it's almost finals time, Clay. Classes are getting really challenging, and like you mentioned before, it's a dark time in the UCF world. What's going on?
I'm good, man. How are you? And like you said, classes ramping up. Like this is like kind of like the lock-in moment for classes. Like, oh, like I can't just, we gotta lock in. This is what we're doing. It's lock-in season, so we're locking in. But we still got you. It's your favorite late night episode of your late night show, here in the UCF Kingdom. So how you doing?
And Gus Malzahn watches the show.
Which is kind of awkward now because I've said some pretty.
Hey, hey, Gus. We say it how it is. That's all. That's the best.
Yeah,
I can say.
you're a great guy. You're a very nice guy. You seem like a great dude. Just we have some critiques.
But yeah, so we're the grandsons or the cousins of UCF. We're scholars. That's what we are. We're great in our grades. We're the standard for the sons of UCF interns.
Yeah. In fact, we're like we're the most UCF technically of all the sons because we actually still go here. Those bums haven't been here in forever. All right.
Frauds.
Exactly.
I can't even tell you where the let me think. Can't tell you where the Smoothie King is on campus.
Yeah, they're like, oh, back in my day, we had a parking lot. All right, bro, chill.
The entire campus was a parking lot back in the day, I guess. Talking about change and a lot going on. This UCF football team has been undisciplined. Last week against Arizona State, they had 9 penalties and a blunder of a first half. Just undisciplined all around. Clay, why is this team so undisciplined?
You're not gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe this, man. No, all right, hey, you're not gonna believe this, like at all. Maybe, just maybe. And stay with me here. Stay with me here.
I'm listening.
It's on the coaching staff. No, I was getting really pissed, especially during those in the first quarter when we had like 3 false start penalties. It was like Paul Rubelt, and then I think Adrian Medley had. Well, we had like 3 false start penalties in a single drive, and it was kind of like ticking me off because Arizona State's not a hard place to play. It didn't sound loud on the broadcast. No. Why are we false starting? Like I literally tweeted from the Barstool account. I said, "Get it together. Like, what are we doing?"
Yeah, we thought when Gus was moving to taking his duties off of play calling, thought taking duties off of play calling, thought we would get more of a disciplined team because he could be more around the team. But it still seems that the team is having struggles with penalties, with cues, with misplays. This is stuff that happens in high school football, even junior football. But this is Big 12 college football, and you're having 3 penalties in a row. You're having missed kickoff cues. You're running RPOs on the 1-yard line before half that put the team in a negative 14-point swing. It's just we thought this team would be more disciplined, and it's a bit upsetting to see how many things could have went so right for us that game that went wrong. Literally, Arizona State was giving UCF the game, and it just in every way possible, like the Doctor Strange, seeing all the possible outcomes. That was the outcome where UCF lost because there was no way UCF should have lost that game.
Yeah, it's something that my old high school coach used to say all the time. That he said, special teams is a third of the game. You fail special teams, you get a 66%. A 66% is failing. And that's what we did on Saturday, which, it's strange because the offense played well, and I think the defense played decent. The special teams is where we failed. We got a 66%. That is a D. That is a failing grade. We had a blocked punt, which I don't even understand what happened. I think they were talking about on Suns today that it was the shielding. Ethan Barr was on the shield, and whoever the shields were missed their blocks and whatever. Anyways, not only that, but
shouldn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Blocking punts unacceptable. And then they kick the ball back to us. We catch it. Christian Peterson, he dropped the ball, right? He drops it. No, he picks it back up.
Wait, did he drop it? Maybe he did drop it. And
I think he dropped it. And he picked it back up.
Yeah, you're right.
And then I think maybe he was confused as to, oh shoot, I dropped it. I have to run it now. And then he runs it. Says, oh crap, let me go back. Actually, I think I forgot something in the end zone. And he goes back. And he gets tackled in the end zone. Well, luckily, which I thought it was a safety. I was like, great, we just got to. They scored a safety on us. Turns out they rolled out the half-yard line.
And because it got 7 points. 7-2.
Yep. Honestly, at hindsight, we probably would have wished they got the safety. And you think when do you get the ball on the half yard line with what 50 seconds? There was like 45, 50 seconds on the clock.
Kneel it into
Yeah, you kneel it. You got a timeout. You recoup, come back. No, how about we actually throw the ball on our half yard line with our freshman quarterback who's never started a road game before? Have him get picked off and take it for 6, giving Arizona State 14 points in a matter of like 20 seconds of game clock.
Yeah, I would say it's upsetting because you would think I'm by no means a coach, by no means a player, but those are things that you learn in high school football, college football. Like those are first day of practice things that for special teams especially. There's not too many things to cover on special teams. You have kick returns, punts, punt blocks, and kicks. There's not that many things as opposed to an offense and defense. You have all these different schemes and you have all these different formations. It's just a simple rule of knowing if the ball's stayed in the end zone the entire time, it can be ran out. It can't be. It doesn't need to be ran out. So I just don't understand why that. And like you mentioned before, I was in the process of tweeting, okay, it's time to go into half. Oh no, I said I was. Excuse me. I was in the process of tweeting, don't be surprised if UCF gets aggressive here. And then I saw the muffed kickoff, and I'm like, okay. I deleted that tweet. I deleted my draft. I'm like, okay, there's no way they pass it here. And then they pass it, and it comes a pick 6. Because any logical person would not be aggressive in that situation. You have the lead. You had a bad mistake. Let it end on that. Don't try to force something out of nothing. And they try to do that, and it turned out wrong.
Yeah, but not only that too, but when that happened, I was like, great, we're just gonna run it out, take the knee and go to half. So I get on my phone, right? I'm ready to tweet, what's your halftime thoughts? And then all my friends start screaming. I'm like, what? And I see the Arizona State defender running into the end zone. I'm like, did we just run a pass play in our own half yard line? And we did. That's exactly what happened. And I was very confused. And not only that, but you talked about kick return fundamentals, but punt fundamentals. I was a shield for punt, and it was always we had 2 shields. You had one on the left, one on the right. And your job is first threat, literally. First guy to come in, your first main threat on the left side. If you're the left shield, you have the first main threat on the left side. If you're on the right shield, you're the first main threat on the right side. So someone breaks through the line and is running towards your punter, you go and you hit him. That's what you do. You hit him, you block him. And we just seemed like we failed at that. That's just basic high school. Like I played 3 years in high school. And even I can tell you that, it's just fundamentals at the end of the day. And it's kind of frustrating when we can't even get basic special teams fundamentals right.
Absolutely. Talking about a team who is getting it right, let's talk about men's basketball. What a fun team this has been to watch. Clay, you've been at some of the games. I've been at all the games. Clay, what are your thoughts on this basketball team, and can they make an NCAA tournament run?
Oh, dude, so much fun. It's like I tweeted yesterday when you tweeted that photo of me. I looked like I was dead inside. Because you know what? I was pondering UCF football in the bleachers, and then just getting how much fun not only the team but the environment is. It's just like it's like a breath of fresh air is what it is, and it's so much fun to watch. It was
drinking there on a hot day.
Yeah, literally, it's like a cold. It's so refreshing, and it's a blast. Like I'm gonna be 100%. I don't really have basketball knowledge like that, but I can sit here and tell you who's winning and who's not, and yeah, it's a great time. FAU, a high scoring offense, 2 high scoring offenses, which is weird. I would have never thought I would hear UCF and high scoring offense in basketball, but hey, we did, and it was back and forth. Leads were changing. I was like, man, is sports fun? Is UCF's athletics fun to watch? Because it was. I was having a blast. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, you say you're not too familiar with basketball. Basketball, I would say, is probably my most knowledgeable sport alongside with football. To get deeper, and if this team can make a tournament run, I think they can. For sure, like you mentioned, you never realized that a UCF basketball team could score 100 points. This team just scored 100 points for the first time since 2014, which is a feat in itself. And they still have the identity of a Johnny Dawkins defense, and they're still missing one of their leading scorers, 4th leading scorer in the Big 12 last year, Jalen Sellers. That's another 16 points a game. And Mikey Williams, who's going to contribute effective minutes off the bench. If this team can shore up their defense, because 94 points is unacceptable in Johnny Dawkins' eyes and the team's eyes, But he mentioned it himself. This is a team that we don't have to rely on defense anymore to win games. He said this is a team that can outscore another team and win some games. Then you add another 16 point per game player onto this lineup. You think about the defense that they have. It's this team is a real threat, and I don't think enough people realize that in the Big 12. I was telling a lot of people, this team has talent. Now, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, but they did beat number previously ranked number 13 ranked Texas A&M. They beat a Purdue Fort Wayne team that's supposed to win their conference, and they beat FAU team that was in. I know it's not the same team. They were in the Final Four 2 years ago, and they still have the foundations of a good making. A lot of recruits still are interested in FAU. They're a basketball centric program, and it's been fun to see this men's basketball team grow into something it hasn't been in a long time. You talk 2 years ago, you went to the basketball games in non-conference against a team like Purdue Fort Wayne. The stadium the arena was empty. There was no student section. It was all seating room at that point, and you had like a couple people buying tickets to watch. Now you go to a non-conference game, and you see a packed out student section, and you see plenty of people in the paid seat section. This team is building a real culture, and it's fun to see. I say this team can make a tournament run.
I mean, you only have to finish in the top half of the Big 12 really to make the tournament, right?
Strongest conference in basketball, so yeah.
Yeah. So and also, so I'm going to point out Johnny Dawkins, man. If I could be friends with any coach at UCF, it's Johnny Dawkins. He came to the student section after the game and was thanking the students for being there and supporting the team. Well, Gus Malzahn doesn't even acknowledge us when he walks out. He's like, whatever. Who are these bums? Get him out. You know, Johnny Dawkins, man. Just he's even when we stormed the court too. That man is storming the court with us. I love him. I love Johnny Dawkins. You know, if like I said, if I could spend a day with any coach, it would without a doubt be Johnny.
And talking about Johnny, is UCF for the meantime being a basketball school? This hasn't been a thing in a very long time, Clay. It's always been UCF. I mean, it's always been football. Football's dominated. What do you think?
You know, I've always been the sentiment, especially the last few years. We're a paintball school. We won the national championship in paintball, non NCAA, but still it counts. 2023, and we're cheerleading. We just won in 2024. Cheerleading national championship. So cheerleading, paintball, I think. Combine those, and you have a very fun school. But as in the main sports, football might be last. I think I go basketball, baseball, football in terms of what kind of school we are right now. Just going off of what we did last year and the expectations going into this year. So what do you think?
Yeah, I would, like you mentioned before, the culture and the fact that Johnny Dawkins is going into the crowd and celebrating. He never thanks the fans. And the way it came out was weird, but he always thanks the fans. He never has enough thank you for the fans, is what I want to say. He in press conference, he's like, we're not winning any of these games without fans, without you guys. He's relentlessly said that, and there's been many games where the team was down and the fans gave the team a boost. And the culture that UCF basketball is bringing right now, people expect this. They go to games and expect this team to win on a nightly basis. It's a dominant team, and not only that, the high-profile players on this team. There's so much buzz around this men's basketball team. You have overtime. You have basketball is life. You have all these different famous social media networks coming to these basketball games, and all these celebrities coming to the games recently regarding men's basketball. So it's been really fun to see. You're almost getting a little bit of that Colorado football dynamic where you just have a whole entourage with them. That's what happens sometimes with this men's basketball team, and especially when Mikey comes back and when Dior starts playing more effective minutes. I think is going to be this basketball season is going to be really fun. So I say for the meantime being, while UCF football is trying to figure it out, men's basketball is the sport to be at if you're at UCF.
I agree. But speaking of that, does UCF have a quarterback? Do we have a quarterback now? Dylan Risk. I mean, in his first road game at UCF, I believe he was 24 for 34, 240 yards, one interception out of Arizona State. And then I forgot his stats against Arizona. Freaking video game is what they were. But what do you think about Dylan Risk?
He's the best pocket passer that UCF has had in a very long time. JRP wasn't a pocket passer. KJ was most certainly not a great pocket passer. JB, he's a big motion guy, a rollout guy. Dylan Risk gives a new dynamic to the offense that we haven't seen. This is a UCF offense that has put up, 56 points and 31 points in back-to-back weeks. Even with the turnovers, even with the sloppy play, he's still putting points on the board. I made a tweet during the game. Third and long used to mean that the drive was over for UCF offense. Once you saw 3rd and 8 and plus, the drive was done. Get Mitch McCarthy out there. Now there's like, okay, there's a chance. I even said it before. That third down, Dylan to Jacoby Jones connection is the best thing I've seen since MJ and Pippen. They connected on literally every 3rd and 4th down. That same route, same curl route, bring it right in, or same in route, bring it right in. It was beautiful to see, and you've seen that RJ's had just enough more room to get the running game going with Dylan Risk at quarterback, because everything in football feeds off each other. If there's a passing game, that opens up the running game. If there's a running game, it opens up the passing game. It becomes a chess game for the defense, and he's giving UCF the opportunity. From what I've seen from Dylan, he's absolutely a quarterback that will contend for a spot in this team in the future.
Yeah, and that's going to segue right into this next discussion topic. And I want to just bring up is and you said, do I have a game? I don't have a game, but I do have a great discussion topic, which is not gonna derail anything. But is 2024 UCF football going to be known as the year of lost opportunities? Is it going to be known as the year of blunders? You know, it really makes you question, why was Dylan fourth why was he fourth string on the depth chart? Why was Jacoby Jones nowhere to be found for the first half of the season? Why was, Dalen Dotson playing defensive tackle when now he's leading the team in sacks as defensive end? Why? Just a lot of whys. Why is this a failure on the coaching staff to evaluate talent? Is it something bigger than that? Is this just like, you'll get him next time? But I feel like for this window in UCF football, there is no we'll get him next time. Last year, at the end of the season, we said, oh yeah, we'll get him next time. 2024 was supposed to be the next time. Well, where do we go from here? Is it just going to be every single year? Oh, we'll get him next time. We'll get him next year. Next year's the year. What do you think, Andrew?
I saw a thread earlier, and I thought it was a really great point. There was a couple people saying, "Oh, you can't expect the 17-0 UCF football team every year." I don't think fans are asking for the 17-0 UCF football team. I think we're asking for a consistent contender and a team that gets better on a yearly basis, not a team that has gotten worse literally every single year, barring if they make a bowl game this year or not. But I think it's unlikely. But it's this team, when you look at the paper before the season, wow, KJ Jefferson, big time money, big time quarterback brought in. He is the acquisition of the offseason. Then you have Kobe Hudson, RJ Harvey, 2 star playmakers coming back. Then you had all these veteran defensive transfers. You're like, wow, this team has a quarterback. They got RJ back. They have the receiving weapons. Then, we have X back too for kick returns and punts. And then you have the defense. You bring in Ethan Barr. You bring in Deshaun Pace. You bring back BJ Adams. And this team is, wow, like, this is a competent roster. This is a roster with a chance of shocking a lot of people. This is a roster with a chance for Big 12 championship aspirations. It has been the exact opposite of that since after the TCU game. It's all been a big blunder. I think the team relied too much on its I don't even know like the word. They relied too much on the veterans. They were too comfortable. I think the veterans got comfortable with how they were, and they never try to look for better. When if in reality, KJ Jefferson wasn't playing up to the standard, but since he was the big time guy, pride maybe got in the way of letting him getting benched for the first couple weeks. If Dylan Risk was performing, I'm still curious on how Dylan Risk was performing, because I think there's no chance that Dylan Risk is number 4 on the depth chart if he's been playing the way he has these past 2 weeks, unless he doesn't fit the system. Gus didn't really like the way he fit the system, or if he just started balling out in practice recently. And then you have the 2, I would say, biggest losers in this situation are RJ Harvey and Kobe Hudson. These are both 5th-year players who had opportunities to go to other colleges, name dropping even a Miami team that's doing very well. Imagine RJ Harvey on that Miami football team. he would be in contention for a second round draft pick right now.
He'd be a
Mid-
Doak Walker Award winner for sure. I think if he was on
he
Miami.
would be a Heisman contender and mid-high second round draft pick. And now, because he hasn't had the same opportunity, even though he gets 30 touches a game, it's not the same opportunity that he had all season to get the opportunities and the holes that he's been getting recently. Excuse me, that phone call. To get the opportunities that he's been getting recently. But it's the fact that Kobe Hudson as well, he was supposed to be high draft pick as well. He has barely gotten any opportunities this season. He's only been received on a couple of deep balls, and I hope NFL scouts see that he puts an effort every play. He blocks well, and any ball in his radius he catches, even if they're not catchable. But yeah, that's my little.
I'm tired of getting into games where we're just beating ourselves, right? Because it's one thing when we lose a game and it's just the team was better. You know, it's like how I feel about Colorado. I feel like the Colorado game, we were literally just outmatched on both sides of the ball. I can't really be that mad that we lost that game. But I feel like every single loss since has been a loss due to some crazy just incompetence is the way on coaching and just crazy mistakes. I'm tired of outgaining the opponents on offense every single game and still finding ways to lose. That's unacceptable. You know how many times, and I think Bailey Adams pointed this out, we have outgained opponents 3 different times this season and still lost all 3 of those games on offense. How do you let that happen? You know, it's stupid mistakes either on special teams, on defense. It's just frustrating. I don't know what's left to be accomplished in the Malzahn era. What's left to be attained? What's left to be desired? Nothing. I don't know if there's anything. There's absolutely nothing I'm looking forward to next year. I hate to say that because RJ Harvey's going to be gone. RJ Harvey, by the way, is just pretty much the only reason I still am engaged. I'm engaged to watch RJ Harvey because, man, anytime he touches the ball, it's like a movie. It's a movie theater, literally. Antonio Brown. And just, when he's gone, what else is left? Just a shell of a team that I know is going to keep losing games for stupid reasons due to incompetent coaching and strange talent evaluations. Miles Montgomery, is also really good. He's probably going to be RB4 next year because we brought in a transfer from the SEC who ends up just being garbage, or probably just based off of what we've seen in the past. I don't know. I'm over it. Really, I think everyone's over it. I don't know who's not over it.
Talking about RJ Harvey, just give me the opportunity, Clay. I think I can speak for both of us when I say this. Thank you, RJ.
Thank you, RJ Harvey.
Shout out RJ Harvey. For the sacrifice that you give to this team, even when the team is looking down, you still go out there and give it your 100% every game, and that's I think all UCF fans ever want. It's just effort, and it's just something that hasn't been being received these past few games.
Unpopular opinion, he had top 3 greatest night of all time. Unpopular opinion.
I think that's valid. That's a well-known fact. Definitely, if not one, top 2 running back of all time.
Yeah.
He's closing on the record for rushing touchdowns, yards, all the above.
And then I'm gonna have an old head in my DMs be like, "Oh, you don't know about John Fartnacker in 1992? He was a UCF legend." All right, bro, get out of here with the old head takes.
We're done with the 90s, Clay.
We're done with the 90s, exactly.
We are done with the 90s. We're in the big 2024. All right. What do you got, Clay? What do we got next?
I mean, there's so much to choose from this week. No, there's not. It's just I was working. I didn't get to finish it, but I was working on an edit for all the special teams blunders. It was just Christian Peterson and the punt blocked. I get it. By the way, Christian Peterson. I wonder if he has any relation to Brian Peterson. I mean, I don't think so, but you never know these days.
All right.
You never know. Anyways,
one lost cousin.
Just I get it. We were at the beginning of the season. We were calling, "Yo, put the freshman in. Put the freshman in." We did. Christian Peterson's a true freshman, I believe, right?
Yeah. Things happen.
I hope this is a mistake we can learn from. I hope it's a valuable lesson to him. I hope he now knows how special teams works. And when you catch the ball in the end zone, as long as the ball didn't leave said end zone, you're allowed to take a knee and take it for a touchback. Don't try and run out. Don't panic. All right. Something I know, he'll never do that again. We know. I'm pretty sure. So I'm glad that he was able to get the lesson, his lesson now.
Yeah. That to deny me. It was just the end of the first half, like we mentioned before, it was a 14-point swing. I think even on top of that, Clay, it was 14 points in 9 seconds, which is it
Even
has to
worse
be
than what I said.
it was sickening, the football that close without the end of that first half. If they just take it in. I mean, if they just even after the month, because even prior, we forgot to mention prior to that touchdown before the end of the half for Arizona State, when they scored on offense, there was a was it a face mask on 3rd and 15 by Nigel Lee Kelly. He had a Arizona State quarterback dead in the water, and he just grabbed onto the face mask that led
Yeah,
to
almost decapitated the guy.
Yes. So genuinely upsetting. Terrible first half, and that is the weekly nightmare. But we do have a betting line.
We do. I don't even know. So the line we set, I believe, yeah. Will UCF make a bowl game? We have to win out to beat. We have to win at West Virginia, and we have to beat Utah at home. West Virginia, I believe they moved on from Garrett Green. I think from I think they're using the backup quarterback now. West Virginia fans hate Neil Brown, their coach right now. They're in a bit of a coaching hell. Had a disappointing season. Hasn't really gone the way they did beat Cincinnati last week. I think that should be noted. Depends on what time this game is. If it's a noon game, maybe. I think if it's a night game in Morgantown, I'll go no. I'll say we won't win that. And Utah played a pretty damn good game against BYU on Saturday night. Lost off of a controversial holding call. I saw the angle; it was holding, so Utah fans can shut up. But I'm gonna go no. I don't think they went out.
I used to often be a person of the hopium. I used to take copious amounts of hopium, as Trace Trickle would say. And I'm just not feeling it this year. So you have a heartbreaking loss like that. I think this team can pull out one of these games, hoping it's the Friday night game versus Utah, just to give the fans something to cheer about one last time. I just doubt that they beat West Virginia on the road. So my guess is they finish off the season 5-7, not eligible for a bowl game.
I mean, do our star players even play in the bowl game? Like, if we make a bowl, I don't think RJ Harvard plays. Like, we're gonna make like the freaking the coronavirus bowl or something. Because like we're gonna be 6-6. We're not. You get the bad bowls when you're 6-6.
I have an idea. The Up All Night Bowl.
Yeah, they're gonna get the up all night. That's actually gonna go hard. That'd be a hard. I'd get us a good venue. Yeah, they're gonna get the up all night bowl against like some random MAC team like Toledo.
Game starts at 11 p.m.
Yeah, game starts at 11 p.m. It's actually on a Wednesday night, so no one's watching it. But yeah, like I don't think RJ Harvey's gonna play. Yeah, it's gonna be on Tubi. Tubi TV.
Watch on Tubi.
But yeah, no, they don't play anyway. So like, what's the point? It's just extra practice for Dylan Risk, I guess. But
yeah,
I'd prefer if we made one. Keep the streak alive. It'd be one thing if like whatever. It was a very disappointing season, but at the very least, we kept the space game streak and the bowl game streak alive. At the end of the day, I wouldn't be that mad. I'd be disappointed for sure. But
you asked me, would I rather UCF win the Space U game and lose out the rest of the season, or lose the Space game and win out the rest of the season and make a bowl game? I said win the Space game, lose out the rest of the season. And I stick with my answer. In hindsight, beautiful choice.
Bro's answer's about to become reality. But anyways, we're all both pretty tired. I think Andrew has some things to tend to. So got a fast one for you today. Just kept it. Trace is going to love it. Trace is going to text me.
We weren't too boring.
I think the show's just rants now. I think when basketball season is fully in effect, it's going to be like happy podcast again. We're going to be.
We're just the crash out boys now.
Yeah. NCAA tournament nights. Up all tournament nights. New show. But yeah, no. I'm tired. You're tired. And I think we've officially been up all night. Good night, everyone. Go Knights.
Charge on. Thank you for watching.